Now on Nightside, police in Cheney asking for your help. The potential hate crime that could have been committed on a woman's porch.
We have more sunny, warm days in the forecast, but also the change you knew would be coming is drawing closer. I'll explain in your first alert forecast.
And a San Antonio teenager fighting for his life tonight. The police officer who shot him and why the department isn't standing behind him. You're watching 4 News Now, Nightside.
Cheney's chief of police quit yesterday. And tonight we have his resignation letter. Good evening. I'm Aaron Luna.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. That letter is just 14 words long. It's right there on your screen. Addressed to Mayor Chris Grover. It's just one sentence saying, pursuant to your request, I resign as the Cheney chief of police, effective immediately, end quote. We reached out to the mayor twice. He told us he would not comment on personnel issues within the city, and city officials are working on finding an interim chief. This is still a developing story. We will update you just as soon as we know more. And just 20 minutes ago, the Stevens County Sheriff's Office says there is no longer a threat near Loon Lake. For the last several hours, the Sheriff's Office has asked people living near Lake Terrace Court to lock their doors and stay inside, saying a potentially armed and dangerous person was near Loon Lake. Stevens County Sheriff's Office says the situation has been, quote, resolved. We expect to hear more details from deputies tomorrow.
The Cheney Police Department is looking for these 3 men. They believe they are connected to a possible hate crime. Officers say they stole and damaged flags and banners that represent the homeowners' beliefs and political views. In the middle of the night, 3 people wearing ski masks took down a rainbow pride flag and a Black Lives Matter flag. Since then, the homeowner says she installed more cameras and lights around her home, also informing the police department and FBI, fearing these men might be involved with local hate groups.
Which makes me also nervous because it's like, were they watching my house? To know when I'm here or not.
City officials say hate crimes don't happen often in Cheney. Anyone with information about who took down the flags is asked to contact the Cheney Police Department.
Over enthused. I don't even know. I'm kind of speechless about it, honestly.
People living at Camp Hope are taking a big step in moving out of homelessness. The State Department of Licensing was at the camp, helping people get IDs and driver's licenses.
And a lot of campers tell us that's what's standing in their way when applying for jobs, housing, or other assistance. Dorothy Baxter has lived at the camp from the very beginning. And the Department of Licensing says lack of ID is the main barricade for those trying to exit homelessness. That goes for Baxter, who says she's tried to leave, but without an ID, she couldn't apply for housing.
Between that and not having an address, I'm going with housing and everything now, and they need my ID, and that's pretty much all they're waiting for.
This outreach is new for people at Camp Hope, but the Department of Licensing says it will continue to provide these services on site every Wednesday for the next 3 weeks. Well, it has been a beautiful, warm last couple of days. A little bit of a windy start to our work week.
It wasn't too bad, though. Chief Meteorologist Chris Crock is in studio tonight. Chris Crocker, I should say. I don't know, Chris Crock. I'm going to shorten that name for you, Chris. It'll be easier to write when you sign all your autographs for fans out there.
There you go. I've been called worse. Here are 4 things to know about your weather. Sunny and warm days will continue. That has been our theme so far this month. Clear and cool nights. Nice weekend ahead. I encourage you to enjoy it because we are going to start to see some changes, and I think we may be done with the sunny, warm weekends for a while after this one. No rain yet, however, in the 7-day forecast. High temperatures around the region today. We're in the mid-70s through the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. 71 in Post Falls and Spirit Lake, as well as Spangle. Only Cheney staying in the 60s today. As we take a look at our current temperatures, we've already dropped to 41 in Deer Park. We're in the 50s at Spokane. It is 47 right now at Post Falls and 51 in Coeur d'Alene. Around the region, temperatures ranging from 61 at Omak to just 43 in both Colville as well as Winthrop. In your forecast for tomorrow, it will be a cool start to the day, down in the 40s, but we are right back up in the mid-70s. Again tomorrow with blue skies and sunshine. Our average high is 60 degrees. I'll let you know when we might start getting temperatures back down around average. That's coming up in the forecast. Aaron?
Thank you, Chris. The Washington Attorney General is sounding the alarm over pre-checked boxes at online checkouts that have signed up millions of Washingtonians for a subscription service they didn't want. Attorney General Bob Ferguson says they all thought they were making a one-time purchase, but they were automatically billed a few weeks later. His office surveyed more than 1,200 of the people affected. Many said they haven't canceled the unwanted subscription because it was too difficult. Anyone who is going through a similar situation is asked to contact the Attorney General's office.
And anyone using the Passport app to pay for parking in downtown Spokane will need to make a switch to a new app that's starting on Friday. The city is officially switching over to Park Mobile, and the switch is part of the Parking Service Department's next phase of their plan to simplify street parking. A part of that plan is installing new parking meters east of Washington to Division and south of Spokane Falls Boulevard to First Avenue. The city says the new meters will not only accept mobile payment, but will also accept credit cards, debit cards, and coins. Flu season is here, and it is time to prepare and protect your family.
Now, flu season has been mild for the last 2 years because of COVID. This year, doctors are now predicting a strong comeback. Doctors in the U.S. typically base flu season predictions on what happens during Australia's flu season. There, they just wrapped up the worst flu season in 5 years. Those who are at higher risk of getting more sick from the flu are the elderly, people with underlying health problems, and pregnant women. Also, since we haven't seen a bad flu season in a couple of years, doctors say younger children probably don't have the same immunity.
Especially important that they get vaccinated, but they also rely on the rest of us, to create a protective bubble to keep them safe as well. If we immunize 1 out of 10 people, we're going to have a very low level of protection. Maybe that one person is going to be protected, but if we immunize 8 or 9 out of 10 people, then the larger community is going to be safe as well.
Children 6 months and up can get a flu shot. Doctors say frequent hand washing is also still very important.
Well, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has given emergency use authorization to updated COVID boosters for kids as young as 5 years old. But the CDC still has to give approval. And just like the boosters that became available for people 12 and older in September, the updated Pfizer booster received FDA authorization today for use in kids ages 5 to 11. And Moderna's updated booster was authorized for people ages 6 to 11 and 12 to 17.
CVS says it's ready to pay the pink tax. That refers to how personal health items for women cost more than those for men. Tampons are especially expensive because in many states they are taxed as luxury items alongside decor, electronics, makeup, and toys. CVS plans to change all that by reducing prices on certain brands of products and paying the sales tax on those products in a dozen states. Their reach is limited, as some states have laws in place that won't allow the company to cover sales tax. ADHD patients could have trouble filling their prescriptions.
Bloomberg reports pharmacy chains like CVS and Walgreens are having difficulty keeping Adderall in stock at locations across the country. According to Bloomberg, Walgreens says supply chain challenges are affecting its supply of both instant release and extended release Adderall. But pharmacies have also seen a spike in demand as people getting these diagnoses of mental health disorders continues to rise. Bloomberg states several drug manufacturers have had both generic and brand pills on back order over the past month. A 17-year-old from San Antonio is fighting for his life tonight.
Why the police department isn't defending the officer that shot him. And 7 seconds was all it took for one woman to hop into a police car and take off. The story from Missouri.
And does driving give you back pain? The tips from an expert that could maybe help.
And how the Washington State Cougars are looking to bounce back after a tough defeat last weekend.
Watch me tonight or I'll see you in court.
Don't take candy from strangers.
Right.
Right? And Halloween is all about taking candy from strangers.
Yeah.
And it's celebrated.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Wendell Motors.
My husband and I have had the Harvester for about 13 years. If there's anything you want to know about Spangle, come in and find out at the Harvester. Avista contacted us about a business partner program to upgrade our lights to LED lights. Between the energy efficient rebates that we got and the grant, it was completely free to us. On our energy bill, we're saving about $500 a month. Everything has gone up, so that savings has been a huge help to the restaurant.
New tonight.
Remember a couple weeks ago, NASA rammed a spaceship into an asteroid to try to knock it off course? Well, it worked. If dinosaurs could have figured this out, they would be alive today.
Plus, Jessica Chastain and Maren Morris. Jimmy Kimmel Live. New tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Tiffany Smiley celebrated the overturning of Roe versus Wade.
There's no way I can trust her to protect us.
Tiffany Smiley would tip control of the Senate to Mitch McConnell.
That is a disaster.
She could give Mitch McConnell the power to rig the courts with more anti-choice judges.
And pass a complete nationwide abortion ban. This is serious stuff.
And Tiffany Smiley still supports Donald Trump.
No way. No way.
No way we can trust Tiffany Smiley.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest, the countdown is on at the Carl Maxey Center with our latest Extreme Team project. They're working to fulfill the dreams of the center's founder, the late Sandy Williams. What would she think of the big transformation? Watch tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest.
The 4 News Now Extreme Team is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
Thanks for staying with Nightside. Seconds is all it took for a mental health substance abuse call to turn into a woman stealing an officer's patrol car. This happened in Missouri, and you can see both officers running to stop it. The car's back end eventually smashes into another tree. One woman saw the whole thing unfold.
She got up in the mix of them talking to each other and ran off like she was going to run up the street, and she just busted a U-turn and hopped in the car.
Well, thankfully, no one was severely hurt. The woman was taken to a psychiatric hospital. Well, tonight, a 17-year-old from San Antonio is on life support.
A San Antonio police officer shot him while the 17-year-old was parked in a McDonald's. New on Nightside tonight, Mola Lengi reports on the criminal charges and the story that can only be described as a nightmare.
Tonight, former San Antonio cop James Brennan is facing felony charges of his own.
Get out of the car.
After he opened 17-year-old Eric Cantu's driver's side door and opened fire.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Brennan, charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon by a public servant, turned himself into police Tuesday and is now out on bail. San Antonio's police chief calling the shooting horrific.
Policies did not allow that. Our training does not teach that. So this was a fail for one particular police officer.
Brennan, who is still in his rookie probationary period, was responding to an unrelated call at a McDonald's when he spotted Cantu's car that he said he had tried to stop the day before.
I got a vehicle over here that fled from me the other day.
But it was not. According to the arrest affidavit, Brennan called for backup, but decided to contact the occupants prior to additional officers arriving. The affidavit stating the defendant was not in clear danger. Now, a 17-year-old boy is on life support. His family's attorney writing, "Please continue to keep Eric in your thoughts and prayers."
Well, Brennan is due in court next month facing these felony aggravated assault charges. If convicted, he faces up to 99 years in prison. Mola Lengi, ABC News, Denver.
Well, images Andy Warhol created of Prince are at the heart of a case that the Supreme Court is now looking at. And tonight, the Supreme Court is considering whether the late Andy Warhol infringed on a photographer's copyright. Photographer Lynn Goldsmith photographed Prince in the studio back in 1981. A few years later, Vanity Fair paid her to license her photo as artistic reference. The magazine hired Warhol to create Prince's image based on the photo, which then ran in an issue. And years later, in 2016, it was discovered that Warhol made more than a dozen prints from Goldsmith's photo. But Goldsmith was never paid for those. The U.S. Supreme Court now has to take a crack at defining the fair use doctrine of copyright law. Museums, galleries, collectors, and experts have also weighed in, asking the justices to balance copyright law with the First Amendment in a way that will protect artistic freedom.
Around the nation, the host and owner of a far-right conspiracy theory and fake news website now has to pay nearly $1 billion for calling the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting a hoax. A Connecticut judge ordered Alex Jones to pay the money to the families of the deadly Sandy Hook school shooting. The judgment far exceeds the award in a similar case in Texas, where Jones was ordered to pay around $50 million. Jones, who was live on the radio as the verdict was read, told his listeners, quote, "This must be what hell is like. They just read out the damages even though you don't get the money." His attorney echoing that statement.
We live in divided times. They've been weaponized and used for political purposes in this country, in my view. And today is a very, very, very dark day for freedom of speech.
Jones's lawyers say he is planning on appealing the verdict. Google has approved the app for former President Trump's social media platform. Truth Social will now be downloadable to Android smartphones through the Google Play Store. Truth Social was already available to some Android devices through non-Google sources like the Samsung Galaxy Store.
A federal district judge could decide whether to temporarily block President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program from going into effect. With applications for loan forgiveness expected to open up this month, 6 Republican-led states argued in court documents the Biden administration does not have the legal authority to grant broad student loan forgiveness. And they also argue the policy would hurt them financially. If the judge grants an injunction, it could put student loan cancellation on hold until the judge issues a final ruling on the case. The losing party could immediately appeal the judge's ruling on the injunction. Well, a change of pace here. This is a pretty funny video of a dog stuck in a group of 5 cats. They're surrounding him. It looks kind of fake, but that black lab, whose name is Maverick, is very real. His owner says it was the very first time the dog saw cats. But in case you're wondering, Maverick has seen some cats before. The family has a cat that lives in the house with them, so at least one. But those look like little kittens. They're so small.
Those are fake. Yard ornaments.
Oh, he's pointing at him. He's alerting. Good job, Shake. Good boy.
I know, that's a good boy.
Oh my goodness. Well, we had bright blue skies today and most of the day good air quality. We're starting to see things go downhill a little bit, and they will continue to do that with high pressure in control. We still have some active fires, some agricultural burning, and prescribed burns. So expect that haze on the horizon to be around this week. Although today, again, was nice to see the bright blue skies. Mostly clear skies tonight, 46 for an overnight low. For tomorrow, a high of 74. In fact, exactly like today. For the most part, we have this ridge of high pressure in place that is going to be with us for another 7 days. Occasional variations, for example, as we go through the next 48 hours, we'll see it breaking down just enough to allow a system to scooch through Saturday. That might pick up our winds a little bit. That's about it as it makes its way east of us. Otherwise, it is just a lot of 70s and sunshine. Then we go out even further beyond the 7-day forecast, and there is growing confidence in an overall change in our weather pattern. We've been in this weather pattern for quite some time now, and that is going to allow some colder air to come in. Here's Saturday, October 23rd, so a week from Saturday. It's much colder air coming in, and we're finally going to get some precipitation going as well. So again, enjoy this next weekend coming up. Overnight lows tonight right around the Spokane area in the 30s and 40s, below freezing in Deer Park, right at freezing in Colville. 40s for the most part elsewhere around the region, and tomorrow's highs in the 70s just about everywhere. Sandpoint, the exception at 69, 74 in Spokane, 73 in Coeur d'Alene. We'll keep with the mid-70s right on through Sunday. A little bit cooler, but still more than 10 degrees, more like 15 degrees above average for Monday, Tuesday. If this went out one more day, I think we would start to see those changes coming in that I told you about. We'll be talking a lot about that over the next several days as those get sharper into view. I'll be back in just a few minutes with some Wildlife Wednesday photos.
Thank you, Chris. Alex, well, the Washington State Cougars are looking for a rebound win in Corvallis this Saturday. And before you say that I'm going to jinx this next sentence, Alex wrote this for me, okay? The Cougs haven't lost to Oregon State in almost a decade.
Blame Alex Crescenti. They are without some of their biggest playmakers, so we're hedging our bets. Alex Crescenti has more on how they're preparing for another big Pac-12 test.
For the better part of the last decade, Oregon State and Washington State have shared some battles on the field. And even though the Cougs have owned the matchup in recent years, they expect to be tested this weekend out in Corvallis against a veteran Beavers team that's already proven to be one of the better squads in the conference.
This will be a kind of a check mark of where our interior defensive line is at. You know, I do think this is the most physical offensive line that we have played, and they just have a different style of how fast they get off the ball. And I thought that was an advantage that they had on us last season. So to come in here, we're gonna see the improvement that we made.
It's been huge emphasis this week is to eliminate those negative plays, and that's collectively, and that's it's okay if we're playing and it's second down and 8. It's a lot easier to call a game second down and 8 than second down and 25 because of penalty or a sack, and so just to not put ourselves in those bad situations of going backwards. So staying ahead of the change.
I feel like we're getting better in the playbook and knowing where Cam wants us to be, and like just being more fluid as an offense, running the ball, passing the ball, RPOs, all of that all helps the receivers, line, running backs, and quarterback together.
Now the Cougs are going to be without two key offensive starters. Nakia Watson and Renard Bell both sustained injuries in the first half against USC, so they're going to need other players on that side of the ball to step up if they want to move down the field. Reporting in Pullman, I'm Alex Crescenti, 4 News Now Sports.
Does the thought of long drives immediately make your back hurt? The tips from an expert that could help. But first, Wildlife Wednesday next. Nightside will be right back.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Vote with confidence this November. In Washington, our layered cybersecurity systems, trained officials, and election audits make sure every vote is counted accurately. After you've received your ballot packet in the mail, fill it out and send it back in your signed return envelope. You can also put it in an official Dropbox or submit it in person. Visit votewa.gov to register, find voting locations, and check your ballot status.
Right now, before rates go up, get what you really want. The coolest cars, the most powerful trucks, and the hottest SUVs. Get the max for your money during the Time to Buy event. 0 down, 0 payments till next year. 0 cost max lifetime warranty. 2.9% interest. And get this, $4,000 over KBB for your trade. Plus, get a $250 gas card with purchase. Right now, the Time to Buy event. Hurry in, 7 days only. It all ends Tuesday night. Only at Max Auto Sports.
What is a jewelry design center? It's a diamond superstore, a center for engagement rings, wedding bands, and anniversary rings, a showroom with unique creations as well as award-winning designers, a fun, comfortable, no-pressure place where you're free to make big, small, or even no decisions at all. We are not your average jewelry store. We are Jewelry Design Center, and we want to be your jeweler for life.
You hear stories every single day of people being mugged or shot.
I've been accosted by homeless people and drug addicts.
It is absolutely not safe.
We're lifelong Democrats.
I have voted for Patty Murray many times.
At least 5 times.
But I just can't do it this time.
We're voting for Tiffany Smiley.
Vote Tiffany Smiley.
Tiffany Smiley is the right person for the job.
She gives me hope.
I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
The nonstop sirens. This is why you don't vote for Patty Murray. It never used to be like this.
4 News Now is brought to you by Just Between Friends.
Oh, I love a Wildlife Wednesday. Some great photos. Very moosey this week. I'll be posting on my Facebook page here in about the next 15-20 minutes if you like moose and other critters. But here's a gorgeous moose from Courtney Litwin enjoying some snacks there. I think this might be at Turnbull National Wildlife Refuge. You could see the foliage colors changing there, but this moose is getting in some last-minute snacks before those leaves really start to fall. Carol Ellis found this gorgeous great blue heron, such amazing birds up on the South Hill. She's in my neighborhood. I know this bird. Kim can't get a decent picture of it. Carol's got some skills, of course. Shannon Verity spotted these river otters having a party near her house in Tico. She says there were 7 of them at one time. Look like they're in a hot tub. Valerie Fink was actually taking photos of a human when this curious, great big bull elk came to participate and get his own photo taken. That's quite a pose. Talk about straight on. Allie Ray shared this photo of an adorable belted kingfisher with a really cartoony, funny face. I like this bird a lot. And speaking of cartoon characters, Mark Vogt, not Mark Vogt, the cartoon character, but this pika, such cute animals, very busy, Mark says. Of course, pikas only live in cold climates and at altitude, so this pika's got to make fast work of gathering up some brush before the snow flies, and it will fly soon where this little darling lives. Thanks for all the great photos this week. We'll be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Sandpoint Furniture Carpet One.
Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, new Sunday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Celebrity Jeopardy is the perfect combination of brain power and star power. Let's hope they've been reading more than screenplays.
Celebrity Jeopardy, hosted by Mayim Bialik. New Sunday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting.
I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
I proudly served our nation and fought for freedom abroad. I never expected to see our temple of democracy ransacked here at home. It's so dangerous that MAGA Republicans, like Mitch McConnell's handpicked candidate for U.S. Senate, Tiffany Smiley, continue to question the 2020 election. Their big lie is a direct threat to our elections and our democracy. Join me in defending America. Say no to Tiffany Smiley before it's too late.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Whitworth's Health Science program is expanding in a big way. And now's the time to make plans to advance your career by joining us in one of our emerging advanced degree programs. Our 38,000 square foot health science building will house simulation labs and classrooms that resemble actual clinical environments and allow for interprofessional collaboration. Everything you need to take the next steps in your career and help people live better lives. Learn more today.
Well, whether it's a day trip or if you're headed out to the west side, maybe Montana or Boise, does the thought of sitting in a car for several hours, just that thought, give you back pain?
Well, driving is one of the most common causes of back pain, which makes sense. You're always in the car. New on Nightside, ABC's Becky Worley is in the driver's seat and ready to show us how to alleviate some of that pain.
Drivers, start your back pain? Millions of people, including me, suffer from aches, shooting leg pain, or stiffness while driving. So I've come to Dearborn, Michigan to talk to Amanda Mustaine, an engineer at Ford who helps design seats.
Biggest mistake I see people making probably is just leaning forward. They get tense and they tend to be in traffic and they're sitting like this. So you watch people drive and their back isn't supported at all on this.
But to alleviate back pain, she says you need to start on the floor. Many cars now have movable pedals, so drivers of any height can get their heels down. Then adjust the seat so your knees aren't pressed against it.
You want to have a couple fingers between here, ideally, to be able to say you don't have any compression of the calf back onto the seat.
And maybe the most important, your distance to the steering wheel.
I heard there was one rule that if you can rest your arms here just as a distance measure, then you're probably right.
Yeah, and I would say it's almost more of your palm, like not the break of your wrist, but like as you slide your hands down, you want this to do that, so you're probably still right
She says many people don't realize that their steering wheel moves up and down and in and out.
It has a range.
As for the back, there's no one correct angle, but the lumbar support for the C-curve of the spine is something she recommends adjusting. And I am enjoying all of these elements of a more comfortable driving experience.
She does sound comfortable. Well, good. We're glad. Those are good tips. Well, Children's Place is adding some pajamas. The brand is called PJ Place, and guess what? It is not for children, it is for adults. This is the first time the company is selling standalone clothes just for adults. Until now, the adult PJs they sold were only meant to match the kids' PJs, so you can think those big holiday family photos where everyone's matching.
Those are good.
Celebrities like Khloe Kardashian and Kris Jenner, there they are helping to market the brand. I'm sure it will do just well.
Especially this Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, if you have been missing the unique antics from Elon Musk, you are in luck. He's selling a perfume named Burnt Hair on his Boring Company website. Boring is the name of his tunneling company. Get it? Boring? Never mind. The site describes the perfume as, quote, the essence of repugnant desire. Musk is selling the perfume for $100 each, plus tax and shipping. He tweeted that he has already sold 10,000 bottles of the perfume, which he says is about $1 million of burnt hair sold. Good for you.
Yuck.
We'll be right back.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
We actually have a new service that we're providing with video banking. We're here to really help them and connect on a way that other institutions really can't.
Some days your body is a temple, and some days the temple wants sugar. You might relieve stress naturally on Monday and plan for it on Tuesday. Because being human isn't always so fries or salad. Sometimes it's both. So relax with essential oils or a glass of Cab. Fall asleep with melatonin and wake up to caffeine. With traditional medicine and alternative remedies, there's no wrong way to treat life at Rite Aid. And now, get your flu shot and updated COVID-19 booster with easy scheduling plus walk-ins available daily.
You know, life is dangerous enough without the negligence of others that cause accidents that threaten your physical and financial health. Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. Call my offices here in Spokane. I can help you now. When you call, you'll speak to me, or you'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. I guarantee it. Lloyd Herman & Associates, 922-6600.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
Don't jump on my back when I read this. Okay. I know a lot of people will. 'Tis the season for boozy Eggo-Nog.
Eggo-Nog.
Eggo-Nog. Eggo is adding a holiday booze trait you didn't know you needed until now. An Eggo cream liqueur. The holiday liqueur is a partnership between Kellogg, Eggo, and craft distillery Sugarlands Distilling Company. The Eggo-Nog Appalachian Sippin' Cream is a rich rum-based liqueur with cinnamon and nutmeg. Eggo-Nog will be available in select retailers nationwide throughout the holiday season. You have to be 21 or older to buy the Eggo-Nog. It just sounds wrong saying Eggo-Nog.
You had me until you said Appalachia. And then I'm
Appalachia.
like...
It's
no,
Appalachia.
Well, no, I'm not correcting your pronunciation. I'm just saying you might go blind.
Lego my Eggo-Nog. I can't even see where I put it. Some of the things like that. That was a bad joke.
Well.